And granted, I had an amazing upbringing. My parents literally handed me the world on a silver platter. But as you grow older, you make decisions for yourself, right? Hi guys, my name is Christina Wilds. I'm 32 years old from Washington, D.C. I am a writer, children's author, and the founder of Tristan's Book Club, which is a children's book club that I've had open since April 2020. And I've been freelance writing since 2015. So when my daughter was born, one of our family friends challenged us to read her 500 books before she started school. And we just started reading all these books to her, and I was like, maybe I should just share these books with other parents. You know, I knew other parents that were becoming parents, that had little babies, and I was like, we should share this message and not necessarily issue the same challenge, but just encourage other parents to read to their children. And it started out, laughing at it now, I'm thinking of it. I would put a book in my daughter's lap and have her, since she was a baby, she would put her hands on it, and every single picture was her with her hands on the book on a different page, just highlighting this particular book. After reading so many books, you know, I realized that a lot of the books had or weren't showcasing Black stories. And so from then, I made it a point to make sure that the books that we showcased on Tristan's Book Club were Black and brown babies, authors, just so that the target market now became Black families, you know? And I wanted children like my daughter to see herself on the cover of these pages. My biggest lesson in books as a whole, having a children's book club and growing that, as well as being a self-published author. I'll start with the book club. When we first started, Instagram was just post and go, just pictures. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they're like, but we're adding video too. And I was like, well, what do I do? You know, I felt like a PowerPoint presentation of a book cover would be boring. So I had to really think about a strategy as far as engagement and continuing to grow in the social media or media world as a whole. And so we decided to start doing things like reading to children facts, things you can do with your kids to limit screen time, places you can take your children. These are activities you can do, just a variety of things to offer parents, especially being in the pandemic, having to be in the house and, you know, not wanting your child to just be on their tablet or their devices. So that was challenging, and it's still a little challenging because you run out of things to share with parents, but now I've kind of got in the groove of just learning through my daughter and teaching them as I learn. So that's the children's book side. And then publishing or self-publishing, I'm a self-published author. I self-published my book, Dear Little Black Girl. And now through that process, I teach self-publishing workshops because there's so much information out there and so many resources that people don't have access to. And I believe people have stories to tell, and the more access that they have to information, the more Black stories we are going to hear and read. So in that world, you know, learning what platform to publish my book through, what marketing strategy I was going to put behind my book, all of that, you know, is self. I did have a PR team for a little while at the beginning of Dear Little Black Girl, but after that, I've kind of moved on my own, and I'm grateful. It's a lot of lessons, you know, does this work? Does this not work? Is this going to appeal to people? Is this a good marketing strategy? No one wants to talk to me this month about Dear Little Black Girl, and kind of now figuring out what's next. Honestly, there are so many Black authors that we don't know about. And to be a self-published author, and I mean, I humbly, respectfully bragging, being in Forbes, on Her Agenda, The Griot, all these publications that are covering my work as an indie author, you know, the sky is the limit. And being a Black woman that is making a difference for indie authors, you know, again, and my job kind of intersects with having the children's book club and being a children's author. I know, and my heart goes out to children's authors who don't, again, have the resources or have the literary agent, have the contacts to these major publishing houses, you know, because again, going back to, there weren't many, if any, books that had Black girls on the cover when I was growing up. So to be able to be a part of this indie author movement is a blessing. Does that mean I'll always be an indie author? Not at all. I'm definitely looking for a publisher for my next book. But Black authors, Black stories, you know, being a part of this industry and getting our stories told means so much to me. How do I show or stay true to myself in my line of work? I'll start with Dear Little Black Girl. It was a letter to me. I wrote it to myself. And then it became a children's book. So I'm very transparent with the reason why I wrote this book was because I was in a bad place. And I was like, well, where did I go wrong? What could I have done differently? You know, and these words ended up on a page. And then I realized I wanted to be able to connect with children because that's where it starts. And granted, I had an amazing upbringing. My parents literally handed me the world on a silver platter. But as you grow older, you make decisions for yourself, right? So I have to live with those choices that I made, and I stay true through being transparent through my work. So that's Dear Little Black Girl. And then with Tristan's book club, it's always full of transparency because I'm a new parent. This is my first child, and so everything that I'm putting out is literally firsthand experience in me welcoming people into our lives and showing them, hey, I decided to sign my daughter up for gymnastics, and then doing the research behind that to why it's important for children to participate in extracurricular activities or things of that nature. So people get full transparency from me at all times, because even my writing, I recently wrote a piece for Parents Magazine, Kindred, which is the platform that parents launch for Black families. And it's just me being transparent. I write from a personal perspective versus, I don't know what the verses would be, but it's just all coming from the heart and all coming from experience. The looks at the photo shoot it was just everything, honestly. I feel like I have a decent style, but on my vision board, and this was amazing, I have style evolution. And when I look back at the photos that we took of the first look, which was like my business, author, writer look, I was like, wow, this is the direction that I would like to go in moving forward and how I represent myself. I felt regal, you know, in this outfit. And I've been saying I want to retire crop tops because I always have a crop top on. And not that that's a bad thing, because I'm still going to wear my crop tops. But this business look, I felt like this is me at 32. You know, I'm not in college anymore. This is grown woman Christina, and that made me feel amazing. And then the second look, a dream. The flowers. I love flowers. And I just feel like, so my favorite flower, I actually have a couple flowers tattooed on me. I have a gladiolus flower behind my ear. I have a poppy flower. You know, flowers are just my thing. And so this second look gave me Sex and the City meets Alice in Wonderland. Like, it was amazing. I love going to the botanical gardens in any state that I visit. It's just where I feel safe and comfortable. I feel like flowers, the story of flowers, they're planted and then they bloom, right? And that is who I am. I feel like a flower all the time. And so, and I bloom where I am planted. So no matter where I am in life, where I am physically, where I am mentally, I continue to blossom. And that is what I felt that second look represented. Again, going back to this style evolution, I felt like in that moment I was truly blossoming, and you can see that, you know, in the pictures.